August 17, 2022, and it's 3 minutes before the market opens. I am just finishing up with my list, and I have my screen shared so you get to see what are my gappers list for today. For the right side, right upper one is my gap up, and my left upper one is my gap down list. So just finishing up with my levels. What I like with the gap up is Saba, because I like the daily chart on this. It had that gap up from 20 to 24 today, and I'm gonna take a look at the 15-minute chart for this one because I like the daily chart. So I did see that there's a line right here, that's the pre-market low, and there's a pivot right here. So I will be looking at those lines. So for the top, I'll put in there a green line, and then this one I'll put a red line just so I know what line it is trying to break. This one for pivot, I just put brown lines there. My eyes got used to it by now. So, and then for my gap down list, plug, not too much. I'm looking at the daily. TDOC I like. So this is the pre-market low, pre-market high. I like this just because it has a catalyst, and that is helping this stock move here. That catalyst is a downgrade. So since I'm looking at this for shorting, catalysts of having it downgrade is a good one. So I'm just gonna put that. So my top list is Sava and TDOC to the short side. 30 seconds to the open. Mara, a little bit there, NVIDIA. OSH I like. So I'm gonna put this line right here. This one is just market is consolidating, so I might wait for a little bit because the market have been moving higher for last couple of at least 4 days, or at least that July. So here it goes. Okay. Not really a lot of volume with OSH, so I'll wait for that to do and make a decision on where it wants to go. TDOC only have a very small volume, so I need more volume for this to move. Looking for plug. Plug is a potential opening range breakdown. You can see here, that's the low there. This is the high. So expect a bounce from that low of pre-market. Once it decides where it wants to go, then BBY. So Saba is just an opening range breakout. 2462 will be my stop. This one is as well as a VWAP play. Adding to my shares. Stop loss will be 24.52. Covering some, moving my stop loss to break even. Let's see what plug is doing. Moving my stop loss a little bit higher so I protect my profit. At this point, I'm trying to see whether it's good to add or not, but I don't see any well, we are stacking with 26 here, so yeah, we are heading to 26. You see this big ass volume right here, we're stacking, so that's very bullish. So expect this one to touch 26. Adding to my shares. Good. Moving stop loss to protect profit. 26, stacking at 26 there. 26. And yeah, got me stop out, so that's okay. Still very strong. So adding to my position is that bounce of VWAP. Stop loss is 24.64. Good. Taking some partials. Moving my stop loss to break even. $26. Let's see what SPY is doing. SPY is popping as well. So this one, looking at the 5 minutes. I like that there's big volume on the ask side. Sava has a high short interest, so it can get some short squeeze right here. Okay, taking some partials, moving my profit or my stop loss. Selling, moving my stop loss to protect my profit. Expect a Saba is right on R2, our pivot point. 2650 is our next destination. $650. Good. Moving this one, protect profit. $27, expect a taking some profit here. $27. Okay, so with that move we got 1100 and we're just 4 minutes into the market, so that's that was a nice trade right there. Sava now is a bit extended because it moved already from 23 all the way to 27, so I'll wait for this for a pullback. Although it's very strong, and TDOC, this is a very good short right here. So I don't like that my montage is going to that. Okay, so just doing a short here. Tight stop loss, just right here, 38.02. Taking some profit. I don't want this to just bounce on me. So yeah, just stop me out there. 37.69. So I'm waiting for this to go a bit higher on 37.63, 66. I want this one to go a bit closer to VWAP, but it doesn't look like it's gonna do that. So I'm putting in now my cover, which is 37.91. Stop loss right there, 37.51. $37.44, $37.18 is our next destination. Just covering some, moving my stop loss to break even. Qs are tanking, so that's helping this short. Osh is the one that I was watching for short, and it did move to that short. Sava, yeah, we did. Yep, that was a pullback that I was waiting for. So now this can go either way, so I'll let it do what it wants to do. I can do a 9 EMA, so expect to move a little bit to like 22 before even considering to do something with this. Lowering down my stop loss to protect my profit. So BBY was the meme. It's not even shortable. So I just like watching this stock, but I don't like playing it. Too risky. I can have some other stocks that are moving that doesn't have that much risk. Because risk management is the #1 key to become profitable, consistently profitable in day trading. So now that I have unrealized of 137, I'm trying to add to my position. Okay, so added to my position, but of course now I'm gonna be moving my stop loss lower to make sure that this one doesn't turn into, I'm covering some, moving my stop loss to break even, lowering it down, protect my profit. So now we are 274 unrealized with this. And yeah, it's heading low. That's the pre-market low right there. expect a bounce from there. That's why I took some profit, but I'm gonna lower down again my stop loss to protect my profit. This might get me stop out because that's a good bouncing place, but protecting my profit. So yes, we got a bit of, yeah, 200 something there, and yep, just got me stop out. So that was the bounce that I was expecting. Sava respecting that VWAP, so that's really a good. This one is just a bit of a pullback, but this might try to pull back to 9 EMA. So at this point, still a bit risky, so I'll let it do what it wants to do. Mara has that 9 EMA at the daily chart, so this might just get a range and just go back and forth there. This one, Sava, is playing with VWAP. Short squeezers can get squeezed here, but I don't like that this one is just a very tiny volume, the buyers here. So it still might have room to go down, so I'm not touching that. BBBY. So here I'm trying to see if this one has room to go. $44, $25.50, $25.69, $69, $65, $69, $60. Yeah, we still have room to go. So that's the one that I don't want to get stuck in. This one still looks very bearish. What I want is a bit closer to VWAP before I reshort this. Because now it's a bit extended, and this is the reason why I went out of Sava, because I expect this one to pull back to 9 EMA, either in the 2-minute chart or in the 5-minute chart. PPY is, this one is just so, I don't see some sort of any bottom there. OSH is still very bearish. I want an entry closer to VWAP to short side. I like this one because there's not much of a buyer there, this very small volume, so that means this is still heading lower. But I want to lower my risks and enter closer to VWAP. So you have 2 million. 19, 18. 25, 28, 27, 29, 30, more active. $29. Okay, entering short. Stop loss is tight. $36.95, 40. Okay. Stop loss 37, 26, 728. Be my stop loss. Entry is at 36.94. It's breaking its pre-market low, that's why I entered this. 1,000 shares, 36.94. So my entry here is still lower lows on the 5 minutes. 36.90. Tight stop loss here. Come on, I need a flush. A lot of volume in the bid side. 37.66. Perfect. Come on. 36.77 is our next destination. $36.77. Covering some. Moving my. Perfect. Covering some. Moving my stop loss. Don't get me stop out. Yeah, got me stop out. Okay, Osh. Okay, I was waiting for that. Touch to VWAP so I can do a short here. Volume. I think the only thing that I don't like about this is there's not much volume. That's why not much of a follow through going on. Now Saba, on the other hand, did touch that 9 EMA. So that's, I missed it. This is the entry that I was looking for. So what I'm looking at Zim, 3 million shares, float is 65 million, so this is not a low float. It was a big gap down today, 4.7%. It is trying to test. It did went higher than the opening price. So I'm thinking about shorting this one if it gives me a good signal. The spread is around 7 cents. If it gives me a 9 EMA, then I'll take a short. Fubo's moving, but this one I don't like the daily chart. TDOC. Okay. So now, yeah, I'm just looking at this Zim. Very interesting. still has room for this to grow, to go higher. Next destination 48.75. So still no sign for short. TDOC. TDOC is now reversing. So TDOC, if it gives me a good signal to short this one, then I'll short it. 720. We have a rejection in the VWAP. 720. 5 minutes is still very bullish. Lots of buyers came in here at 36.61. That's why we have pushed. And this one, yeah, this is a reversal here. So oh shoot. So we're seeing a reversal here. Just a small position. Covering some, moving my stop loss to break even. Because it will bounce there because that's a 9 EMA. But I just entered a very small position. It might just get me stop out, but let's see. So yeah, yep, just got me stop out there. Let's see if it's gonna Lara is showing us some sign of reversal right here at the S4, but it is a 3-day. Let's see, 2 million shares, a bounce here. Okay. 1614. Okay, just doing long here. Stop loss is a loss of, there we go. Moving my stop loss to break even, profit. Very small. Just got me stop out. Okay. Fubo bouncing back from that S3. Looking at the pivot points now, it did open in the middle, but it's now bouncing here. I don't like the daily chart though, because it can go anywhere, because this is just an inside bar, so inside play. So yeah, it can go range from like 5.61 to 7.6. But it's at short selling restriction. Okay. Okay. I don't like seeing any red trade on my trade, so I'm just putting a tight stop loss there. So it's probably just, you know, be a couple of bucks, but I like to see all my trades green. So this is the TDOC that I was saying earlier, that we did see that signs of reversal. I didn't want to ride it to the long side because I don't know how much juice this one has. What I'm actually looking at is to short this one if it gives me a good signal. And this one, the one that I shorted, $48.11. Okay, so reshorted it Tight stop loss 48.41. Stop. Okay, so Fubo is good. Moving this one. This one is just a very cheap stock. Okay. Okay, now moving my stop loss to break even, protect my profit. Fubo just got me stop out. Okay. Zim, let's see. Come on. This might just get me stop out again. Osh is moving me or giving me this $26, okay. Bad fail, 26.22. Stop loss there. Osh is moving in my direction. $26. Okay. Moving my stop loss to break even to protect profit. Lower it down a bit. Gosh, very small movers. This one, the short that I was looking for, entry should have been at 37.36. So Osh is moving. Good. Might bounce from that VWAP. BBY. Not much of movements here. That's why it's like in a stall. This one too. But my entry here is 48.11. Lowering this one down. Protect my profit. 25.93. Moving this one. Okay. Wow. This one just covering some. Perfect. That was the move that I was expecting. Okay. We have room here. We have a good move. Perfect. Covering. Moving my stop loss. Excellent. Look at that. Perfect. Taking some profit here, because why not? It's giving us some money. Oh, kidding? Just stop me out. Okay, whatever. Osh is moving anyway. So at least, let's see. Yeah, I think this will be my last trade here. So let's see if there's any imbalance. It might just get me step out because this is a very good support here. But we'll see. Yep, got me step out. And that's it. I am done trading for the day. It's at least 2K, 35 minutes. And that's it because I still have to do something else. So let's do a market review. So let's see. First is, what is our mover? Our mover is Sava. So what I saw in Sava is Even before the market opens, I was looking at Sava, and this is my only gap up before the market opens. I was saying that Sava is the one that I am looking for. That's because at the pre-market, this one have moved significantly. So we have good volume. The float here is 37 million, so it's not a low float stock. I have traded Saba before, so I know how this pretty much have been a mover. Of course, now it's moving without me, but yeah, it's okay. I'm done with my trading. So what I saw here at the 15 minutes is Sava had been moving. So the pre-market low is at 20.44. This is yesterday from 4:30 p.m. So pre-market or the post-market was 20.41, and then the line that I placed here is that high of that pre-market, and that is 27.44. So what I saw here, and I also placed a pivot point lines here because it had been trying to touch this line right here. We have a test of that 23.36. We have a test of that 23.36. That's why I put that pivot point line there, as well as it had touched this price 24.81 couple of times. So I put my pivot point there. Now the play that I did for this is that opening range breakout, and what we are breaking off of is that pivot point. So this pivot point right here, that 24.81, the confirmation that I have is I'm seriously having FOMO right now just because this stock is still running. But anyway, I'm done with my trade. So the pivot point was 24.82, and the VWAP is at 25.33. So there are two indicators for me that this stock is going higher. First, I wanted to know that it's above 3% at the pre-market, which is it is above 3% in the pre-market. I did like the daily chart because we have that support there, this moving average here at the daily, which is 23.76. So we have a good bouncing point at that level. So I wrote this one to the long side right here. And if we go to my lower time frame, so this one is still running without me, and I'm still having that fear of missing out right now big time. But again, I'm done with my trade, so I'm not gonna be touching this one. So let's dig into this. So I saw this one that's ripping higher, so I wrote it to the long side at that break of VWAP cover, and then it did stop me out at break even. So I write it again just because it was respecting the VWAP. So I entered long again at 25.25, and then all the way up to 25.92 cover there, moving my stop loss to break even, and it did still manage to move. So it went to 25.94 and then 26, and then I was able to get that move from 25.22 all the way to 26.69. So that was more than $1 move. And with that move, it was, yeah, that was my first trade, and was able to manage to get at least 1K from that. This, by the way, is one of my favorite setup. This is the 9 EMA. You can see here in the 2-minute chart. So my favorite setup is if you see a gap up more than 3% to the long side. So this one has that criteria, and then it's very strong. Wait for a pullback, and that pullback is still on that higher highs, higher low. Once that pullback managed to touch that 9 EMA, you entered here at that break of this candlestick, and also stop loss right here. So with that, imagine if you entered right here around 25.45, you will be able to have that move of at least $1 move. And so with $1, your risk is about 25.50, about what is that? 25. So like around 45 cents is your risk to make a dollar move. So that's more than 2 to 1 reward to risk ratio. So very good risk to reward ratio. And that's why I like that strategy there. The 9 EMA strategy. I am just looking at Zim, and this is the move that I was waiting for. This one could have been a good entry as well. This one is also a 9 EMA. What makes it a 9 EMA is it touched the 9 EMA right here. This now is a short side, so more than 3% gap down at the pre-market. What you'll wait for is wait for it to decide what it wants to do, and sure enough, it did get some selling at the open and then managed to try to test that high of the day. It did get to go higher than that high of the day, and it did touch that 9 EMA. So the entry could have been a support or your stop loss right here, entry right here, and could have managed to ride this all the way down. So 48, and now it's 47.43. So that is a mover. And that is the power of that 9 EMA strategy. All right, so that is the Zim. So Zim, since I'm discussing this one anyway, so what I did here was short, because I'm short bias, because it got down. I saw that this is topping tail right there. So as I see that this one is showing me some sign of weakness, I look into that 2-minute chart. Sure enough, this moving average right here, the blue line. I'm also having some fear of missing out right now. This one is moving what I expected it to do. But anyway, so this is the moving average acting as a very strong ceiling or very strong resistance. That's why I entered short there, covered my position, and then moving my stop loss through lower than my break even to protect profit, and it did stop me out. Entered again, short, and covered some because that's a 9 EMA right there, and then cover. It did bounce up to the VWAP and stop me out because I moved my wow. So this one is 48, now at 47.22. Yeah, so stocks are really moving in the expected direction that I wanted to. So that's Zim. Next one is TDOC. TDOC, I'm also short bias on TDOC just because it has a good catalyst. It was downgraded by the analyst, so that is a good catalyst to the short side, and I was short bias on this stock just because when I saw that it is trending lower more than 3% at the pre-market, and I did put in my lines. This is my pre-market high, pre-market low, short bias on this one. When I see that this is showing an early sign of weakness and continuation to the short side, I look into my 2-minute chart. So I look into this. It did try to go higher and touch the 90 MA, but it does not have the juice to go up. So at the VWAP, it just broke down at the VWAP. So I entered there and then added to my position and then cover, and then got me stop out because I was moving my stop loss to protect my profit. It's still very, very weak. So I re-entered cover, and then got me stop out. It's still very weak, so I re-entered and cover all the way down here. So 36.66 or 36.6, and the entry initially was 37.8. So that is a dollar move right there. So my position is not that big, and that's why I only managed to get like 480 on that. And then the next trade that I have is, so we discussed Zim, TDOC, Sava, OSH. OSH, I'm also, this one, it has room to go lower, but okay, I'll stick that. I am done with my trade. So this one is another 9 EMA, so we have a 3% or more than 3% move to the low side at the pre-market. So what I did for my levels for the pre-market is I have my pre-market high, pre-market low, and I did see that it just, after the gate opened, it just went so weak that it moved from 26.76 all the way to 25.14. So that's more than $1 move. So I missed that just because I was trading Sava that time. But what I waited for is a 9 EMA trade. So 9 EMA, what happens is it tried to break that high of the day, did not have the juice to do so. So we have the 9 EMA here, was acting as a very strong resistance or very strong ceiling. So I look at the 2 minutes. 2 minutes, what am I seeing here? I see that moving average is there, very strong, and we do have that inverted hammer. So when I saw that that's an inverted hammer right there, the low of the inverted hammer, I went short here with a stop loss just on top of that body. So that body is like around 26.10 and was able to capture the move here. So there's a 9 EMA there acting as a very strong support. So I covered there, moving my stop loss to protect my profit, and sure enough, we get a bit of a bounce in the VWAP, so got me step out. So with that, OSH is just 112.48. Now the other trades that I have, just because I don't like seeing a red trade, I have to make a very tight stop loss, and that's why Mara only gave me a $12 there. Yeah, it's really is a nonsense trade, but I like it green, so I'll take it. So what I saw in Mara is Mara had been a runner, but for this is the third day that it's trending lower. So I saw that it was touching that 9 EMA. Now I'm looking at the daily chart, and 9 EMA for me, thought process is it can act as a good or a strong support there. So looking at the 5 minutes here, 5 minutes, I saw this pivot point in S4, and I saw this doji right here, and also that very long wick at the bottom. So how that forms is sellers try to push this down, buyers won the battle and was able to move this stock or this price higher. That's why we ended up with that wick right there. So when I saw that, okay, bullish sign, so I entered at the break of the high of this. So that would be 16.12 with the slippage, got me in like 16.15. Stop loss very tight, just because this one is can't decide what it wants to do. So very tight stop loss here, just at the low of that S4. And then I did see that it was close to the VWAP, so cover there, moving my stop loss to protect my profit, and it did got me step out. But look at how this one is also forming the 9 EMA. It is more than 3% that it had gap down. And then, of course, taking some profit here by those people who were short at the pre-market. Tried to test the high of the day, did not have the capacity to do so. Tried to test and break that 9 EMA, it did not. So the good setup here would be the test of 9 EMA there, entry here at around 16.15, stop loss at 16.3, which is a 15 cents move or 15 cents risks, and you are managing to do that 15.86 now. So this is the reward and this is the risk. So just eyeballing that is like at least 3-to-1 reward to risk ratio. So that again is a 9 EMA mover. But yeah, just only was able to manage to get 12.16. I did not want to turn this one to a red one, so that's why a very tight stop loss. Now Fubo, what I saw in Fubo, the daily chart I don't really like because it's opening it's an inside bar day. What I mean by inside bar day is this is the high of yesterday, this is the low of yesterday, it did open in between that. So that's an inside bar. That means inside bar, the bar is forming inside the previous day candlestick. And with that inside bar, expect a move. Most likely that it will just be a range trade. That a range trade meaning it's just gonna go back and forth that range. Also, if you notice here, this is a mover yesterday, 8 and 4. So it went double from 4 and then went to $8. So with that move of a stock, you expect them to have a breather the next day, and that's what it's doing right now. So what I saw in Fubo is, okay, this is the dotted lines is the yesterday's close. We did see and managed to have that couple of 5 minutes candlestick that's going lower. So okay, expecting this one for a bounce. I did have that sign of reversal there, and so what I did was to enter at the break of this candlestick because that was now an inside bar, although not exactly my setup, because yesterday's close as well as today, this one is not even like 3% there, right? But this one, knowing that this is not my A plus setup, this is like a B minus, I will do a very tight stop loss. And so that's what I did here. So I entered at the break of this stop loss right here. We do have the 9 EMA there, took some partial there, and moving my stop loss to protect my profit, and it got stop out. And with that, got 66.10. So with that move, let's see. Just want to see what was my, so 3 to the short side, 3 to the long side. And so today is a good opening range breakout kind of day. Expect like around 11 that the volume might die down. And this is the FOMO for today, or the fear of missing out for today. This could have been a very good 9 EMA. So if you entered at 25.33 with 25.66 or 16, that is like less than 20 cents risks, and you'll be able to manage to get, so less than 20 cents risk, 25.29, and now it had moved for almost $4. So you were there for like 20 cents to go for $4. So that's a big one right there. I will stop trading and lock my montage. I'm not gonna give into fear of missing out. It is what it is. I already got 2,000 for the day, and I'm done for the day. So I hope you had a green trading day for the day, and as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye.